What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Shorts back again with yet another Rush Rundown. This time, we're going to go over Slime in the English competitive metagame. This will be a quick, concise overview of Slime's strengths, weaknesses, and notable cards that you need to know in order to effectively play into it, all in 10 minutes or less. While these aren't meant to be totally comprehensive, we've included a lot of information in this video about Slime, so feel free to pause if I'm moving a bit too fast. Alright, let's get right into it. Slime is the English meta's first true memory-focused deck, playing a lean defensive game plan, converting stock into memory at every opportunity, looping repeated early play heals that also have hand-on core. No competitive build of Slime will be relying on getting reverses at any level, execute their core game plan. But some builds might run techie off-finishers that can present an on-turn clock kick, but it's not at all necessary to their core strategy. Getting into the cards, the first package we have here is the Shizu Mask package. It is a 7k on-attack climax combo that sends itself to memory when it gets reversed, and it only whiffs on climaxes. It's free memory compression that sets up for the early play healers condition, which we'll talk about later. The Mask engine makes resolving double or triple of this card at their first level 1 turn very consistent for your Slime opponent. Because of the way the Chloe works, being an on-play ditch a character tutor the Mask, and the Mask itself being a 1/1 drop search that removes itself from the game entirely on play, makes it so your opponent can double or tri-field this without any trouble every single game. The only possible way to deny this card from sending itself to memory is to crash a cost bomb into it, as it needs to be hard removed from the playfield to deny its ability kicking. Pretty much every build of Slime is going to run 4 copies of this, as no other level 1 combo in the set comes close to matching this card's power level. Moving on, we have the early play Shizu that works with the Shizu Climax combo package that we just looked at. It is a spammable early play healer that sits at 10.5k and has hand-on core. Early playing when your opponent has 2 or more of the level 1 Shizu in their memory. Basically, what this does is turn every junk character in your opponent's Slime player's hand into a 2-soul beater, as they can constantly recur this card over and over again right after they hit level 2. Basically, your only way to stop them from having access to this card is to anti-change it to a different zone, similarly to the 1-0 Shizu. Pretty much every deck is going to run 3 to 4 copies of this, as no level 1 climax combo matches up to the Shizu level 1, and no early play really matches up to this Shizu either. It's an extremely powerful card that lets Slime run very lean and loop heals over and over and over again, allowing them to grind out the game to ridiculous lengths. Moving on, we have this Creating Potions Remaro, and this is truly the real reason why Slime can run so lean in both hand and stock every turn and still play meaningful turns. It has 3 really strong abilities. The first is a pay to rest this heal. The second allows your opponent to marker a Demon Continent character from their waiting room under this card, and then the following turn allows them to rest it again to put that marker into stock, allowing them to generate a single free stock every other turn. This card allows your opponent to constantly play full meaningful turns without having to be stingy with spending their stock. They can tap out on their stock every single turn and still be able to play everything they want. Your only real way to deny your opponent value is to either blink or bounce this card when you see it with a marker. If the card doesn't have a marker, don't bother doing anything about it, since there's no real way to deny them from tapping it down the next turn, as it is a costless character and they can easily just play it from their hand again. But if it has a marker, feel free to get rid of it, as the marker will go immediately to waiting room. As I talked about earlier, Slime is a set that really wants to put as many cards in memory as possible. Since the 1-0 Shizu and the Mask are the only true cards that send themselves to memory when they are either played or reversed, this Reincarnated is extremely important for Slime's long-term game plan. This Reincarnated allows your opponent to pay 1, summon a cost 0 character to the field, so a 1-0 or a level 0, and at the end of the turn, so long as that character isn't reversed, it will go to your opponent's memory, removing a card from the game and making sure that they're exchanging their stock for memory. Although it is simply powerful as a normal pay 1 plus, The fact that it can summon large costless characters that are available in the set, like this robot that swings in for 7,500 on turn, means that your opponent can generate a large attacker that simply removes itself from their field at the end of turn, not leaving you a reverse. It's also a good way for your slime opponent to ensure that their level 1 Shizus go to memory if you are trying to do things like side attack or cost bomb them to different zones, making it so that their reverse effects don't go off. They have a way to sort of play around that and ensure that they hit their memory. Lastly, we have this Milim stock swap as a tech card. Most slime decks run a very small amount of red, and this is one of them. It is a on-play, pay 3 stock swap, just a normal on-turn stock swap similar to Buns for Luck. However, because this card is a character, it means that it is tutorable off Mask or any of their other effects, meaning they have easy access to it, and as a red card, it is an easy card for them to clutch if it is a card that is important in that matchup. As for Slime's counters, they do have a normal Ditch 2 anti-change counter, as well as a normal 2k costless counter. Most Slime decks, however, instead of running any of these other counters, opt to run the Gobta Lifa counter, allowing your opponent to reveal the top card of their deck, add it to their hand if it's a character, and then pitch it before they resolve damage, effectively damage scrying them for 1. Since Slime is a deck that plays with very high levels of compression due to their memory at most times, that extra damage scry for 1 typically does allow them to cancel if your opponent is using it correctly. So be aware of not only the power, the 2500 power of the Gobta backup, but also the ability for your opponent to scry for a cancel. As for common builds of Slime, you will definitely see the 1-0 Shizu combo in pretty much every Slime deck unless your opponent is memeing. However, the second half of the deck can vary a little bit. Most shells will be trying to do a similar thing, healing, elongating the level 2 as long as possible, playing at least 2 heals per turn, or as many as the Slime player is able to. However, some more aggressive players will choose to play the Wind Finisher, which is an on-attack pay 2 burn 2. More defensive-minded players will lean towards a more lean package using the Door and the Milim, which is typically run at only a 1 or 2 count for the finisher itself. This Milim is a single lane restander and burner all in one card for a very hefty cost of pay 5 and ditch 3 characters, but allows your opponent to run a more toolbox top end, which could possibly answer your threats with bouncers or other cards. Just to wrap up Slime, yes, they do have a Riki. It is the 0-0 Remaro Search Riki that is run in basically every deck at high counts, so be aware of that if you are trying to level lock Slime. Most decks, in terms of anti-change, will probably run a bombing and clearing option rather than an anti-change counter if they choose to run anti-change at all. The most popular build is definitely a tie between Pants Wind and Pants Door. Both decks play pretty much all the same cards, with the only difference being the Door and the Wind combos at the top. Slime is very strong at converting its stock into non-interactable memory compression. Since you can't stock swap your opponent's memory, there will be no way to really influence their compression later on in the game. It's also very strong at looping heals with its 3-2 stock killer, which plays for 2 or less, as well as the loopable Shizu early play, which just does a normal heal and also has hand encore. It can also play full turns with its Potion Remaro in the back row on very few resources, both hand and stock. Even with all those benefits, the set can be very weak at recovering if it can't set its 3-2 Shizu early play condition. So if you see the opportunity to push and possibly deny those Shizus from going to memory, the shorter the game is, lower chance the Slime deck has the ability to grind out the game and eventually win. Due to the fact that Slime is a single standalone set with currently only 1 release, and the set's undeniable power level, you can expect to see Slime a lot of the time at regionals once they resume. And that's basically Slime. If you liked this video, drop a like or a comment to let us know how we did. That really helps us out. We've been releasing Rush Rundowns every Wednesday for a while now, but with the current lack of events, we are going to be slowing down our release of Rush Rundowns until the meta settles out and we are able to deliver accurate, meta-focused Rush Rundowns on all these new sets, which don't currently have any results as of the recording of this video. However, we'll be releasing our deck techs every other Friday as usual, and along with all these links that you see up on screen that we leave all the time, we will put some deck lists for Slime down in the description so you have a better idea of what you would run into if you saw this at a shop challenge or a regional. And with that, I think we're done. Pittsburgh White Shorts signing off. We'll see you all in the next one.